name's Carl Andrasik.
I'm Kevin Finch.
And we have the opportunity to show you guys how to make home brew. Most people come up to us and ask us, you guys make brew and how do you do it? Well, we're here to show you exactly how to do that. And one of the most important things is the water. And Kevin will tell you exactly what we do for the water.
Yeah, well, majority of what beer is water. And we like to go, it's really difficult, we like to go to the local store and buy spring water, right? Very important. And because water is the majority of the product of what we put into the beer. So we always try to get the best spring water we can, and we put it into the beer. It takes about 5 gallons per keg that we make of water. So it's a simple process, but water is very important.
Well, a lot of people ask me, can't you use just tap water?
Well, I don't like to use tap water, and the reason is it's got chlorine and other chemicals that are in it, which we try to keep out of our beer because we pride ourselves in making the best beer that can be brewed.
Well, and again, I think that's a great point, but if you really want to do it on a budget, you can filter your water and use that, correct?
Yes, you can.
All right, but make sure you do that because, again, I think water is one of the most important things, okay? Now, the other thing along with water is not only its cleanliness, and that's why we use this stuff, but also sanitation. Any equipment we use, we want to make sure it's clean. And that's important for many reasons.
Yeah, it really is. And one of the things that's, you ever hear about home brew, someone has it with a friend and they say, oh my gosh, I had this beer and it was absolutely terrible, so-and-so made it. Well, the reason is that little bacteria and microorganisms weren't cleaned in the process and removed. And so they multiply because when you brew beer, there's a lot of sugar in the beer. That's what makes the alcohol. And those organisms love it, and they don't taste very good.
That's why they multiply, because they all want it.
That's right. They love the alcohol.
So anyways, the cleanliness, okay, we use a lot of iodine, okay? Any of the equipment we're going to use, we like to clean it first with iodine, okay? You can use bleach mixed up with water, but iodine is one of the best things to use. And it comes in a very small little container like this. But we only use a couple of drops per gallon, okay? And by using this with every cleaning process, whether it's the pots, the containers we put the beer in, anything we touch or anything that touches the beer, it's the best way to make beer. Make sure you're clean.
Right. Everything is sanitized.
Well, we're ready to start the brewing process. Now, one of the first things I want to introduce here is, it's old, but it's a great reference. And this book is one of the best things you could have as a tool for brewing beer. It's like a tool. Heck, it's only a book.
It's the Bible.
This thing will tell you how to brew it, okay? From start to finish, the whole process is illustrated, even with pictures, all the way through.
That's
of course, it's back from the 1960s, so they're not going to quite look as cool as me and Kevin, but hey, it's the same process. We use actually the same steps that they use, and it's a great reference. You can pick this up at most brewing places. All right, the first step is actually getting everything in the process going and things boiling. Kevin, tell us what we're doing next.
We're going to put this magic nectar water, which is, as we talked about, the majority of beer, into these wonderful little containers over here. And right now we've got 1.5 gallons in each one. We're going to brew a total of 10 gallons of God's nectar beer. And so what we're going to do is pour this into here and let it boil. And then once it reaches the boiling point, then we're going to add in the malts to the water.
All right, but Kevin, when you first start, you don't really have to be doing a double batch, right?
No, you don't.
I would personally start with just a single batch, okay? You only need one pan. You only need a few gallons of water. You need half the malt. Now, granted, we're experienced beer drinkers. We need a double batch, okay? But one batch is more than enough, and that's the way I would start.
Right. But, one batch, even if you're a novice, is 5 gallons of God's nectar.
It's not enough. Yeah. What can I tell you?
Yeah. So it's good stuff.
So the next step here is we're going to add the malt, okay? Now, the malt is basically, it is very, very thick syrup, okay? If you tasted this, it'd be quite like a KO syrup for pancakes or something. What it's made from is malt grain. It's all ground up. It's all done for you. The way we do it is we buy it out of 55-gallon drums, okay? It's the easiest way. You take your buckets in here, you fill it, they weigh it, and they price you by the pound, okay? And we normally use, 6 or 7 pounds?
Well, we want 7.
7 pounds. 7 pounds will make it just a little bit more on the alcohol content, but you can adjust that by how many pounds of malt you use. So the next step we're going to do is we're actually going to take the malt and we're going to put it inside each of the boiling pots of water, and once they come up to boiling What's
Boiling point.
Boiling
Mr.
point. There I
Engineer.
go. I'm getting near. So anyways, we're going to include this into the water and get the process going.
Right. Very good. Awesome. Well, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this malt that Carl told you about, and we're going to pour it into this boiling water. Now, one of the things you got to be aware of is that it will burn on the bottom of that pot because it's very warm. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour it in, and then Carl's going to stir it with this magic spoon so that that way we don't burn the nectar that creates the magic. All right? So, you ready?
Have at it.
All right,
so
buddy.
as we pour, we'll stir just to keep it off the bottom so it doesn't burn. Keep on going, Kimosabi.
You know, you're kind of slow. I don't want you to like let it burn.
All right, once we put it in there, most of the process is done other than putting in the next steps of hops, but the important thing is to just make sure you don't burn it.
Yeah, but there's one more thing that we need to talk about, Carl. You see, this little container here still has syrup in it. And the syrup is what makes the magic. And so
We have a secret for that,
we
don't
do
we?
have a secret, don't we?
Hold on 1 second. Let me get the secret tool.
All right. Y'all can see how much is still in there, right? We don't want to let any of that go.
All
because
right.
This is important.
This is very hot water. We'll take a little bit of this and we'll pour it on the inside to get as much of the syrup as we can out of the container here. Why waste it? You paid for it. Let's use it. And the more we put in there, the better the beer is. Now, Kevin will just go ahead and stir that around a little bit.
See how much of this malt still in there?
Now, we're completely in there. We're going to stir it, and we're going to do the exact same process on the other pot.
You want to give it one more run of water, Carl? Just for the heck of it.
Now, of course, I did that with pretty artistic strokes. You don't have to do that perfect as a rookie, but as you get better, you've got to concentrate on that stroke. Isn't that right, Kev?
Absolutely. We want to get the other container? And we'll do the same thing. So this is for 5 more gallons of great beer.
Keep stirring. Now, if you're doing this yourself, you can hold it with one hand, stir it with the other. But it's easier to do it with friends, because who wants to drink alone? All right.
Very good. So for the next approximately 45 minutes, I get to stand here and stir.
But for this process, it's very simple. You just kick back, drink a beer, relax, and watch the stuff boil.